You mentioned being stoic, and I've noticed a lot of like discourse on men's mental health is kind of encouraging them to express emotions in like a more female typical way. Um, what do you think of that? Do you think that's like, because there is this contrast between like when is it good to be stoic and when is it good to like try to connect and share, like, or what are your thoughts on that?
So I think you want to be able to process your emotions for sure. I think when it comes to being stoic, it's about being able to endure what is in front of you without this huge display of emotion and woe is me and how could this happen to me? Like for example, I get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I'm the most depressed I've ever been, heaviest I've ever been. My mom's crying, all this stuff. I'm at a crossroads where I can react to that as well. For the past several years, I wanted to kill myself. Looks like it's gonna happen now, and like I can just dive more into the depression, right? Or I can realize this isn't personal. No one woke up this morning and pressed a button to make cohort, feel pain, right? This is something that has happened to me that I need to do my best to handle. Tears aren't gonna get me through it, right? Yelling and screaming at God or the sky or anyone isn't gonna get me through it. I need to be more focused than I've ever been in my life, right? There's a war in front of me. I have to fight it. And if I don't fight it, there's more pain on the, in the other direction, right? So there's a time to lock in and focus, of course. But locking in and focusing doesn't mean you don't have awareness of your emotions and that you cannot communicate them. In fact, I would argue if there's anything to being a man, it's being able to communicate effectively and being aware of how you feel so that you can mitigate and manage your emotions as necessary, right? Sometimes you have to compartmentalize for survival. You want to be careful when you do that because you don't want to get used to always putting things in compartments. But you need to have command not just over your body but your emotions as well, and that means being able to communicate them effectively. Over the past year, I've had to talk to many different people about how I felt, health, anxiety, whatever, family and friends. And I've had to learn how to communicate how I feel directly and without trauma dumping or being overly expressive or loud and performative, right? But I do need to communicate it. So I guess what I'm saying is there's like some nuance there where it's like, okay, I'm going through something. Cool, I acknowledge that. Still got to get this thing done though. What's in front of me still needs to get done.
Got it.
But I can still communicate how I feel, and I'm aware of how I feel. I'm not pretending it doesn't exist. I'm not pretending I don't have emotions or something yet.
Oh, I think you would just like that's like the perfect balance of like all the, of like not because I was struggling to kind of find a line between like stoicism and like suppression, but I think you just explained it well. Of like you're not denying that you're feeling it, but you're being measured in how and like effective in how you communicate it based on what like response you from the world. Because it's like if you do like I've been guilty of like trauma dumping because I'm just kind of open and will say anything, and I'm trying to rein it in because I'm realizing like what is this person experiencing I'm trauma dumping to? They might be uncomfortable. Like, do I need to tell them this? Like, so for me, I've had to learn like more discretion, but other people have to learn more of like, when to express and like, what are your thoughts on like the like professional care? Because I think you had mentioned on the panel being pro, like you do think there's still utility because it's very like anti-therapy vibes has been going on, especially in like the more like manosphere. It seems like
that's one of my main gripes. I have like a list of gripes with the manosphere. Even though it's the main place where men congregate, right? And that's great that it exists. There's still a whole bunch of things that need to be sorted out, and that's one of the things that needs to be sorted is this idea that therapy is weak. I think what I would tell every young man is that your body and your mind need to be in concert, and you need to take care of them, both of them, with the same level of effort. So you're not going to the gym and lifting as therapy, right? It can help you maintain mental stability, and it will, right? Being active will help with that. But there are aspects of your person that can only be properly evaluated and maintained through communication with others. You have to talk to people. You cannot only lift. You cannot only sleep. You can't. It's everything in moderation, right? Everything in a measured way. So where therapy comes in is you get to talk to somebody who is trained to explore the mind with you,
Mm,
right? And they don't come with the baggage that a family member would have or a friend would have. You're not trying to avoid disappointing them. And if you are, then you have the wrong therapist, right? If you're
yeah,
attracted to your therapist, that's not a good
you're wrong.
therapist. If you're nervous about making them upset, that's not a good therapist. Your
Mhm.
therapist should be someone that you can go into a room and talk to, that you're not like, oh, I don't want to tell them this. What if they view me wrong? Or,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
important to have, like, everyone needs counsel. It's important to have someone that you can come
Mhm.
to in that way. Not to say like friends aren't good, and if you sometimes we have friends that are capable enough that they can kind of do therapy because they
Yeah,
can
yeah.
detach enough to not be just immediately disappointed or upset or
Mhm.
something at something you say.
Mhm.
um but overall, that's what therapy is about, is being able to explore the mind in the same way you would explore your body or any other
Yeah.
aspect of yourself. Yeah.